Nineke benkosihle lamhla sibhekile ukuthi imbobo emhlaba inikete iParliament yelive la kaNgwane indlela yokusebenza njengoba nathi ukuthi lokho kusho kona kucala kokusebenza kwelive leSwatini kulapho khona imbobo emhlaba uma iphefumulela wona umhlaba ngalelanga leli lanamhla lokulanga lelimcoka kakhulu esiveni seMaswati kanye nasendlela nengendlela yokusebenza kanti ke nine benkosihle nita ukhumbula ukuthi nasevikini leliphelile kungaphambi kokuthi sifike la khona lamhlanje sicale konke sakubika kuye umdali ukuthi asihole silive leSwatini ebutheni bendlela sisachubekana womnyaka lokhu namhla imbobo emhlaba itabe iphefumulela wona umhlaba khona lapha eParliament nine benkosihle ke lokunye lengingakuveta ngikho ukuthi tinto setivele time ngemumo khona lapha eParliament emalunga eParliament etindlu totimbili sekavele athelekile akhona ngekhathi eParliament sevele konke kuma ngemumo kumele yona imbobo emhlaba ukuthi engabe libhobeze litakuzoma libhodla namhla lapha linikede yona iParliament indlela lethini njengoba konke lokho konke kusebenza kwayo iParliament kume kiyo imbobo emhlaba ukuthi uma ibhodla libhodla libhobezi libhodla ukuthi iParliament isebenza ibhekapi lamuhla nebenkosihle nje lengingakusho ukuthi ngeminyaka imbobo emhlaba uma ifika khona lapha eParliament iyaye inikede iParliament inganikede yona iParliament kuphela kodwa nelive lonke leSwatini indlela yokusebenza njengoba iye ibeke tona tigaba mhlawumbe netinhlangothi letehlukene le mhlawumbe live leSwatini libheke ukuthi lisebenzele ngaphansi kwatoni nebenkosihle njengoba eminyakani lephelile imbobo emhlaba siyive ikhuluma kamanti ngenzaba yokufukula umnotho kufukuleka komnotho live leSwatini ngilokunye lokubheka ukuthi imbobo emhlaba ikunikete wona emalunga eParliament kuniketa ina uhulumende khona lapha ukuthi ababuke emasu ekusebenza abuke ukuthi umnotho ufukele kanjani njengoba into ukukhumbulana nebenkosihle ukuthi live empeleni libhekene nawo umnotho lo ntengantenga ngongasiyo lona live leSwatini kuphela kodwa umhlaba wonke empeleni njengoba ndawukhumbula ukuthi eminyakeni leyendlulile live leSwatini nemhlaba sibhekene nemkhuhlane weCovid-19 longakabheki nje mhlawumbe kunye kuphela kodwa ukhinyabete tinhlangothi letehlukene letifaka kona ukukhinyabeteka kwawo umnotho kanti ke letinye tindzaba lesiye sitibheke uma libhodla libhobezi khona lapha eParliament ngiyo indzaba yokubuketa yona infrastructure selibona ke live leSwatini ukuthi seli empeleni selihambe kakhulu noma sigabe thuthukiseni tona takhiwo telive leSwatini njengoba sithi nje nathi noma sita khona lapha sibesihamba ko imigwaco yakanokusho lokusho nokuthi live leSwatini solo liyetama hulumende uyayibambisa imbobo emhlaba ukuthi mhlambe tinhlelo letisukunyiswa tisukumiseke empelweni tibe ngiletho leteba imphumelele futhi kanti ke nje ngingakahambi isigaba lesingakanani ndawo usho ukuthi sisekhona lapha eParliament ekungeneni njengoba nami ngigabe naleli bhande nali imithetho yekuvikela kwanza komkhuhlane weCovid-19 ilandzelelekile njengoba nakungigabele kusho kona ukuthi ngindlulile kibo bona betempilo bangicilonga bakhanza ukuthi ngifanele ukuthi ngingangena ngekhathi eParliament ngikhone ukuthamela lona libhobezi noma sona silo semhlaba uma siphefumulela wona umhlaba khona lapha eParliament kanti ke lokunye lokucikelele kakhulu njengoba ngitawukhumbula ukuthi kuphepha nekuphila kwaso sive seMaswati kusenhlitweni yawo emakhosi ngisikene benkosihle sisekhona lapha eParliament ngishita phambilini ukuthi emalunga eParliament sekavele akhona ngekhathi eParliament kanjalo nandvunankulu welive nalo lonke nje libandla letindvuna tembuso njengoba ngishito ukuthi leli lilanga lelimcoka kakhulu empeveni leSwatini kuwo umnyaka wa 2022 nene benkosihle kanti ke siyathi ukuthi live leSwatini nje linato tihlobo letilisekelako lapha nalapha kunalabo ke labamelele wona imave abo khona lapha eveni leSwatini kutawuti vela mathupha yona inkulumo yembobo yemhlaba ukuthi live leSwatini eminyakeni wa 2022 litabe libheke phini nebenkosihle kanti ke nato tinhlangano temhlaba letisekela live leSwatini kutentuthuko nato tikhona khona lapha eParliament nato titawuthamela njengoba inkosi itabe ibeka kabanti ngayo indzaba yokuthuthuka kwelive leSwatini into tinhlangano letimsekela kuhulumende ekuthenini athuthukise lona live leSwatini la ngikhona khona ke neBengosihlenhle kunayo iband njengoba seyivele ime ngemumo kokuthi selingavele libalele noma kunini khona lapha eParliament lomuhle njengoba lese sigathe kakhulu lemehlo labovu ngiko kubalela kwelanga lapha eParliament yelive leSwatini galubambane neBengosihlenhle iParliament ke vele seyivele ilungiselela bona ukuthi ithi imbubo yemhlaba noma lithi libalela khona lapha konke kube sekuhambe kahle bonke kuhamba ngemumo neBengosihlenhle njengoba bengishilo ukuthi imbubo yemhlaba yayethi uma ibeka yona inkulumo yayo noma uma iphefumulela yona umhlaba kube netigaba thide netinhlangothi thide leyitithintako imbubo yemhlaba sitawukhumbula ukuthi eminyakeni ophelile imbubo yemhlaba yathi uma ivela eParliament sasisuka esikhathini lesimadima kakhulu eveni lapho khona livela likhungathwe kakhulu nguwo umkhuhlane weCovid-19 lekungilapho imbubo yemhlaba yakhuthatha eMaswati ukuthi etame ngayo yonke indlela ulandzela yona imigomo yokuvikela kwenza kweCovid lebekiwe lebekwe live leSwatini njengoba ngidakhumbula ukuthi wathi mawufika lo mkhuhlane embalunga baholi bemave bathwala tandla inhloko bangadi ukuthi empeleni batawuthathani bayibhicenani kodwa leSwatini sitawukhumbula ukuthi lavele lahlangana lapha esontweni lesive njengoba konke sikubeka kumdali kuthandazela live ukuthi kusesebhekene nalenkinga lenkhuluna kangaka nalekhinya betalive kakhulu etinhlangothini letehlukene asibeke konke kumdali neBengosihlenhle takhumbula ukuthi yekena ophelele imbubo emhlaba isakhuluma ngayo indzaba yeCovid yaphinde futhi yabonga konke kusebenza itempilo kanye nawo onke nje emaqhawe bekasebenza ku front line indzaba yeCovid unawufika lo mkhuhlane yababonga bonke yaphinde futhi yabanikeza dloloqina yabanimisa nesibindi ukuthi abachubeke bayibambe basebende balisekele live bawasekele emakhosi njengoba ivele lisakhungethwe yiwona umkhuhlane imbubo yemhlaba ke yaphinde futhi yaveta nokuthi live noma uhulumende wethuta kwedama ngayo yonke indlela nekubuka ukuthi financially iCovid-19 kungaliwa njani njengoba kwaba kuningi ukuthi abadinga indlela yokuqokelela imali neBengosihlenhle njengoba imbubo yemhlaba yavele seyababonga bonke lapho labasekela live ukuthi labasekela live ngetimali ekubeni nawo umkhuhlane lokuveta imbubo emhlaba noma lokwacizelelwa ngiyo imbubo emhlaba isakhuluma iminyaka lophelele ngiyo indzaba yokuthi ngoba indzaba yemijovo ukuthi nafika imijovo sive seMaswati siphume ngetinkani siye kuyawujova njengoba bese kubonakele ukuthi bathi science bahlanganisa into bakhanza ukuthi umjovo ngitaba nguye mancoba kuyiso simo lebesibhekene nalo silive leSwatini neBengosihlenhle njengoba sikhona lana ngikhona khona lapha ngivile nani background selo izama iyananzisa ukuthi sonke simo sibe relax sisamele kona kukhanya kwelanga khona lapha eParliament neBengosihlenhle kanti ke sisekhona kiyo inkulumo yembubo emhlaba eminyakeni noma eminyakeni lophelile eParliament lokuyimbubo emhlaba leya kuveta ngiyo indzaba yokuthi umnotho welive bawukhinya bedeke kakhulu yamcela uhulumende yalicela live ngoba siyati ukuthi uhulumende angeke akhone kusebenza yedvana kodwa kumele ukuthi silive sinsekele ukuthi kuze imbubo emhlaba ke yagcizelela kabanti yagcizelela kakhulu ukuthi umnotho njengoba ukhinyabetena kangaka ukhinyamedeke kakhulu yamcela uhulumende yalicela live ukuthi alente taba elisebenze ekuthuthukiseni noma ekufukeleni wona umnotho ukuze ukuthi live litawukhona qhubeka phambili ngoba phela ilive umnotho ukhinyabedekile kusho ukuthi live litabe sesinalo selimanza wonye neBengosihlenhle kanti ke ngetuluka lokho imbubo yamhlaba njengoba ngidakhumbula ukuthi wathi umkhuhlane kucatululekile bafunzi bakhona kubuyela esikolweni njengoba nanyalo bafunzi babuyele esikolweni neBengosihlenhle nitawubona nibonile emavikini laphelile bafunzi babuyele esikolweni solo yimitamo yakhe uhulumende ngekubambiswa ngilo live leSwatini ekuthenini konke lenikota kona imbube emhlaba kuvele kusebenzeke ngendlela nebenkosi njengoba naku batali bajabula nabafundi bajabula ukuthi nabantwana sebabuye etikolweni nebenkosi lenhle kanti ke kunye imbube emhlaba liyaye ikukhulume ngiko kukhuthata kona kuphakamisa tinhlangothi letehlukene ngoba siyathi ukuthi uhulumende wakheka ngatinhlangothi nangematiko lahlukahlukene amatiko ke ngehlukahlukana kwabo ke siyathi ukuthi afa ekhathi litiko letekuvakasha nitawukhumbona nebenkosi ukuthi esikhathini lesengcile kulesimo lebesibhekene nalo silive leSwatini tekuvakasha nathi bengiletinye letikhinya betawo kwatise ukuthi tekuvakasha tinguletinye letifaka sandla lesibandi ekuthuthukiseni umnotho welive leSwatini njengoba imbube emhlaba ihlale ikhuthata njalo ukuthi live leSwatini alento esiciseko ukuthi kusasenjetwa zabatekuvakasha atikhona ukuthi bantu bafike even leSwatini kuze ukuthi batawushiya lokho luncane imbube emhlaba ke phinda futhi kulelinye litiko leyakhuluma ngabantu ngalo ngilo litiko letekulima njengoba imbube emhlaba seloku igcizelela minyaka yonke ukuthi live alikhone ukuthi ikhicitela kudla lokwanele kuze ukuthi sitawukhona udonda silive leSwatini impilo ikhone kuqhubeka iye embili kwatise ukuthi lihlangothi letekulima lingilelinye ihlangothi lelimcoka siyakhona kuphinda futhi siyakhona nokuthi singenise imali even leSwatini ngato tekulima nebenkosi lenhle ke lelunye ihlangothi imbube emhlaba lehlale ngashiyi ngilo lihlangothi lebusiness nebenkosi lenhle ngoba sibonakalako khona ekuthuthukiseni umnotho njengoba uma business ithuthuka tiyembili lokona ukuthi umnotho utawembili kutawakhe kade business batshalta imali batawukwenza even leSwatini kanjalo futhi nemathuba emisebenzi nawo atawukwakheka njengoba nalo lolo hlangathi imali yengcingwane leyo imcoka ekuthenini imisebenzi yakheke even njengoba sinita ukhumbulane nebenkosi lenhle ukuthi eminyakeni lephelile uma live lihlaselwa ngomkhuhlane weCovid-19 temisebenzi itabangiletinye letikhinya betho khona emaswati lamaningi alahlekelwa yimisebenzi njengoba tinkampani nemafamily amaningi aphocelela ukuthi avalwe kwathenga ukuthi rechange disebenzi le emaswati lamaningi akasakhoni kuyisa sandla lonyeni kanjalo nabo bosomabhizinisi bamaswati nabo basesebakhinya betika ngoba kwathi uthi bavale imali yaza ayisangeni kwakhinya kedabo somabhizinisi kwakhinya beteka live kwaphinza futhi kwakhinya beteka nadoti 70 njengoba isebenzi yalahlekane nebenkosi lenhle kanti ke benkosi lenhle ke sisekhona lapha eParliament noma njengoba imbube emhlaba ibheke ukuthi iphefumulelo nomhlaba kunengi lesikubhekile kuyimbube emhlaba ukuthi lonyaka ilive litawubheka phi umnyaka wa 2022 ungilanje njengoba evikini lephelile nivile imbube emhlaba khona emandulo Green Hall uma kuba nje yona inkonzo yekucala umnyaka isho imbube emhlaba ukuthi umnyaka wa 2022 ngumnyaka wethu silive leSwatini kusho ukuthi kunenge kakhulu lekubhekekile even kuwo umnyaka wa 2022 nebenkosi lenhle kanti ke sisekhona sisekiyo indzaba noma mhlambe kiyo inkulumo yembube emhlaba leyaye ithwele khona lapha lokunye lokumcoka ngiyo indzaba yensha nebenkosi lenhle ukuthi live leSwatini solo liyetama njengekuniketwa emagunya nekuniketwa indlela ngiyo imbube emhlaba ukuthi li accommodate youth lento tonke tintfo letifanele ukuthi youth ikhone kuvula emabhizinisi youth ikhone kuya etikoleni nebenkosi lenhle lokho ngilokunye lokumcoka ngoba nje ndawukhumbula ukuthi youth mhlawumbe ngulenye ipopulation lethe cha even leSwatini kanti ke nebenkosi lenhle njengoba ngikhona khona lapha lamhla nitawudibonela nani kusaqhubeka wona umsebenzi ngekhathi eParliament njengoba ngenjwayelo imbube yemihlaba iyaye ifike khona la ngakhona khona nebenkosi lenhle leko ngilapho khona imbube yemihlaba iyaye imukelwe ngayo ingoma yesive nebenkosi lenhle bese seyivele ihlola wona umbutho bese ke sevele labo labafanele bavele bayayimukela noma bayingenisa ngekhathi eParliament leko ngilapho khona ngekhathi eParliament sibhekele ukuthi njengoba konke sekubika kuyo umdali sibhekele ukuthi selotawuvula umthandazo kanti ke sibhekile ukuthi nalo ngangaye mengameli wetimpunga khona endlini etimpunga naye empungele wona emakhosi khona lapha ekuvulweni kwayo iParliament yesine sigaba sesine iParliament yelishumi nakunye nebenkosilenhle kanti ke kutabanga lapho ke sekufika sikhathi lesi silinze ngalabovu nebenkosilenhle njengoba sati ukuthi liswati neliswati selivele lihleli lisekhwathalala limele kuva imbubu yemhlaba limele kuva lona libhubezi lemhlaba ukuthi uma libhodla khona lapha eParliament namhla engabe live litawubheka phi lonyaka nebenkosilenhle kanti ke emaswati lamahle sethemba ukuthi nalabo labangephandle kwelive leSwatini batawube solo kuba silandzelela njengoba siyathi ukuthi inkundla zokuxhumana disesakala la tonke tibukhoma kuwumsebenzi wokuvulwa kweParliament namhla siyathemba ukuthi nabo batabe besoloku balandzelela konke kungabi ngokuthi mhlambe ungephandle kwelive kodwa awadi ukuthi ekhaya eSwatini kwendekani namhla njengoba leli kulilanga lelimcoka event leSwatini siyathi ukuthi siyabathemba ukuthi ndame nonke emaswati lamahle lingetinka kude tonke tinkhalo temhlaba la khona ndabe soloku nihleli sene nathi ebutheni bendlela sinilethela konke lokutabe kwendeka namhla lana nebenkosilenhle kanti ke emaswati lamahle ngingasho nje ukuthi njengoba iminyaka leminye mhlambe lemibili lendlulile libe nangu kubhekana na umkhuhlane weCovid-19 siyathi ukuthi live lisekelekile empeleni kakhulu lisazitama ngayo yonke indlela kulwa na umkhuhlane weCovid-19 lisekelwe ngiwe emaswati ngekwehlukana kwawo ukuthi lifike la likhona khona namhla la njengoba siyathi ukuthi mhlambe ngiveta kane nganendaba yeCovid-19 kodwa sitakhumbula ukuthi iCovid-19 kube ngilokunye lokulikhinya betako empeleni live leSwatini kakhulu etinhlangothini letehlukahlukene nebenkosilenhle njengoba iminyaka lemibili lendlulile ayikabe ngiminyaka mhlambe lesihambela kahle silive not silive kuphela but singumhlaba wonke nebenkosilenhle kanti ke ngitawukusho nje ukuthi njengoba live njengoba umhlaba ubona ukuthi emaswati aphuma ayojova emave la njengabondiyang lama emave la khonele kusisekela silive ukuthi sikhone ukuthola imijovo ngaphandle waleli leta khona ukuthi ukuthi emaswati akhona ukujova kuvikela wona umkhuhlane weCovid-19 nebenkosilenhle kanti ke siyathi ukuthi tibeti ningene timiso letibekiwe tibekela kona kuvikela umkhuhlane weCovid-19 nebenkosilenhle kanti ke emaswati lamahle nje sisekhona lapha eParliament njengoba ngisho ukuthi emaswati lomhla ayikade ngalabovu imbuba uma iphefumulela nomhlaba siyathi ukuthi leli lilanga lelimcoka kakhulu kithi silive leSwatini siyathi ukuthi leli lilanga le kusukela emfaneni lomncane kuya kufika kugogo iSwati ngalinye litawukwati ukuthi njengoba imbuba emhlaba itakuphefumulela wona umhlaba lapha namhla yini lebhekekile kuliswati ngalinye njengoba imbubu emhlaba itabe iniketa yona indlela kiwo emalunga eParliament ngekhathi eParliament kodwa ke nathi singemaswati nathi liswati ngalinye nalokufuna ukuthi litfole ukuthi nguyiphi inzima lebhekekile kilo kusaqhubeka wona umsebenzi noma kusaqhubeka lona live wona kanti ke nebenkosilenhle njengoba sikhona lapha nje ngingasho ukuthi nguloyo naloyo njengoba ngishilo ukuthi uyathintheka letinhlangothi ngishitana phambili ukuthi hlukana letithinthwa ngiyo imbubu yemhlaba khona lapha ngekhathi eParliament njengoba inkulumo imbubu yemhlaba ikhongetela cisha mhlambe tonke tinhlangothi letibheke ukuthi tisebende timikise live leSwatini embili tinhlangothi letibheke ukuthi mhlawumbe disekele live leSwatini lisaqhubeka nawo umsebenzi kanti nebenkosilenhle engathi sevele kuyitinto sevele timengemumo khona lapha selivele liyabalela nebenkosilenhle eParliament yelive leSwatini galobamba asesibone ukuthi engabe kwendekane
Ladies and gentlemen, His Majesty the King.
Your Majesty, I humbly request permission to invite the Reverend who will open for us in a word of prayer, Reverend Petros Kumalo from Free Evangelical Assemblies. Bayethe enwaphakathi.
Yekama lenkosi lengeyo ingaba ophephe lakhona uyaku kohlezi
sevele kufuthumele lokho sihle ePhalamende yelizwe leSwatini ngilanga libalele kube mhlaka sevele ingenile ngekhathi ePhalamende njengonkosini ndawo nomsebenzi lomkhulu welive njengoba namhlanje bemhlaba itavula sigaba sesine sePhalamende yelishumi nakunye lekulilanga lelimcoka event njengoba ngishidona ngaphambilini kokuthi ilanga lelimcoka njengoba namhlanje ngibube emhlaba itawuniketa live leSwatini emalunga ePhalamende uhulumende umkhombandlela wekusebenta weminyaka wa 2022 ndibongosihlenhle nje nitibondele sisanethulela bukhoma khona lapha imbube emhlaba yemukelwe ngayo ingoma yesive uma isitheleka khona ePhalamende lomuhla kanti ke masodla amahla ibe sesayivele ihlola wona umbutho wedekuvikela ukuthi lo umiswe njani lomuhla kanti ke imbube emhlaba kanti ke ibe sesayingena khona ngekhathi endlini ePhalamende kanti ngekhathi endlini ePhalamende nebengosihlenhle kulapho sibheka ukuthi lo msebenzi namhla uvulwe ngomthandazo abantu awukhumbula ukuthi thina silive leSwatini konke lesikwentako sibeka umdali embili masodla amahle ke sisibone ngekhathi ePhalamende ukuthi kuqhubekani sale sekuyathandazwa
Bayede wena waphakathi Nkosi lomfukazi umhlekazi ngwenyama angithathe lelithuba silo lekokuthi ngihloniphe bonke labakhona kulomhlangano nalomsebenzi wekuvulwa kweliPhalamende namhlanje egameni la Jesu inkosi yethu. Amen. Weyama kala njalo kumthokozisa uNkulunkulu lokuthi nathi sondela phambi kwakhe lithathe ithuba lokuthi bekhona ukongena kuye ngokuthi simkhulumise simbonge sibalathandazi wenyama nekuvunyelwa nguwe itawukapule magama lambalwa encwadini lengcwele lesiphiwe nguNkulunkulu incwadi yamaHebheru kaHloko selishumi nambili inzima ngeyesibili simo la kuthiwa khona ingxenye nje yokuqala emehlo ethu angesuki kuJesu lo ngumsunguli nemthelelisi wekukholwa kwethu silo ngithi kuyangithathe lamagama lamafisha bese ngethula ikhombane letimqoka letingaba lusizo lokuthi sive semaswati njengoba sihlangana la singaba nendlela yokuthi siqhubeke sibambelele kuleli khombane yini kuthiwe emehlo ethu angesuki kuJesu yimela sive semaswati ukuthi lokuthi kuthiwe akangesuke emehlo kuJesu nguloke kuthi Jesu uyakwazi ukuqala ayiqhube into ize ifike emaphetheni. Bonke labayawumbuka bayakumfunda bese bayenta nabo ukuthi bahlale impilo bayiqhube ifike emaphetheni. Indlela neliqiniso nekuphila. Nakukhona into ledzingekile emhlabeni nalokubonakala ukuthi ishodile kakhulu liqiniso. Sive semaswati uma besingaphakamisa emehlo kulowo nalowo abuke Jesu besingahambi eqinisweni sihambe ekhanyeni impilo ibe mnanzi imthokozise uNkulunkulu wasezulwini. Futhi bese lokuthi kuthiwa akabukwe Jesu ngilokwethi Jesu emandla okuthatha bantu ekuthatha sife asisuse emandleni asifake emandleni bese siba sife lesiphumelelayo. Into ukuthatha silo ukuthi wonke maswati akafinyelele ekuthenini kusavulwa nje eParliament kulona lo athi emehlo ami akangesuki kuJesu ngoba yena ungumqalisi nemphelelisi wetipho. Sekushilo lamagama silo ngacela ukuthi simane sithandaze sisonzele enkosini emakhosi ake sithandaze. Babe longcwele wena lophila phakathi naphakathi wena lome ulusito lwethu nenqaba yethu ngetikhathi tonke tempilo isondela kuwe Nkosi sinekubonga thina sonke lokuthi usenkele lomusa wekuthi siphile sibone nalalanga lelihle lesinalo. Sekuyathandaza Nkosi ngoba kulelanga lapho kutawentiwa khona umkhombandlela wekuthi live libhekaphi lonyaka. Siyathandaza Nkosi lengcwele ukuthi kusakhulunywa emandla akho lamakhulu aye eke kubanjelelwe kulowo mkhombandlela kuze sikwazi ukuphila kahle. Thandazela kuthula uNkulunkulu uNkulunkulu wekuthula. Sithandazela emandla leyawuguqula ingqondo lethu sethembele kuwe ngoba nguwe uNkulunkulu wethenjwa. Siyathandaza uNkulunkulu sive semaswati kuphepha nakwetimo letivukela umhlaba wonke kunetifo kunekuyaluka lokunene. Siyathandaza hambela sive semaswati khanyisa ubuso bakho kuso yelula ingalo yakho ethi kwesive kodwa sihambe kahle sinekuthula. Siyathandaza Nkosi siletha umnotho walelive uhlabe enkulunkulu ufukamele kuze kwekhona inqubekela phambili sonke lesive sitoqhubekela empilweni yokuthula empilweni yeqiniso empilweni yekwesaba. Nkosi sibeka umhlangano njengoba uvulwa la siyathandaza Nkosi igama lakho ngoba wena uhlele esihlalweni phakathi naphakathi. Amen. Bayethe wena waphakathi Nkosi Dlovukazi Mhlekazi bayethe
Ashatu sasana kwa boma kwa suno. Nange sinta kunyame sabe kuna phakathi. Basha abantu bashere TV.
Baiti, Wenwapagati. Your Majesty, the King and Ingwenyama, Your Majesty in Lovgazi and the Queen Mother, Emma Kosigati, Your Royal Highnesses, Bobabe Tikulu, Royal Councillors, my colleague, the Honourable Speaker, Your Excellency, the Right Honourable Prime Minister, Your Lordship, the Chief Justice, the Honourable Deputy Prime Minister, Honourable Cabinet Ministers, Honourable members of both Houses of Parliament, Your Excellencies, members of the Diplomatic Corps, development partners, judges of the Supreme Court, judges of the High Court, as well as judges of the Industrial Court, the learned Attorney General, Regional Administrator or region, Your Graces, the Bishops, Parliamentary Service Board, the Clerk to Parliament and Parliamentary Service staff, distinguished guests, members of the Fourth Estate, ladies and gentlemen. Your Majesty, it is my singular honor and privilege to extend, on my own behalf and that of my colleague, the Honourable Speaker, Mr. Petros Mavimbela, as well as all parliamentarians, our warm welcome to His Majesty the King to this inauguration of the fourth session of the 11th Parliament. To our beloved Mother of the Nation, Ngosi Ndlovukazi Mhlekazi, it is an honor and a privilege to extend a warm and unreserved welcome to you, Wenawe Kunene. Her Majesty is following proceedings via digital platforms. Your Majesty, I kindly request permission that you allow me to welcome following proceedings online and through various digital media platforms. We are gathered here following the successful completion of Imikosi Elive and the inspiring national prayer service, which have become an indispensable precursor to the commencement of a new session. Their success always gives us hope that the year ahead will be fruitful. Gwenyamandruna, as we begin this session, being the ultimate session of the 11th Parliament, prudence dictates that one reflects on our journey thus far. I hope this will give us the necessary impetus to approach the last mile with remarkable zeal, energy, as well as the urgency it deserves. Gwenyamandruna, following the unfortunate and unexpected onset of the COVID-19 pandemic and its devastating consequences, the immediate and most urgent task of government has been to revive the economy of our country. Parliament was instrumental in creating the enabling environment with appropriate and effective measures to steer the economy in the right direction and to bring about some semblance of stability, which is now the key focus of government. Hlangaleze, at the beginning of the previous session, we committed to His Majesty the King and the nation that Parliament will continue with and conduct its business despite COVID-19. I'm pleased to report that innovative measures enabled us to conduct virtual and hybrid meetings. This also ensured that Parliament continued to exercise oversight over Cabinet through motions and questions in the respective chambers. We were able to fulfill our international and regional obligations. We are grateful to our development partners and various stakeholders for their contributions, which ensured that such initiatives were possible. Your Majesty, it is worthy of note that Parliament successfully passed 13 crucial bills during the preceding session. Your Majesty, despite COVID-19 in all its various guises and mutations, your government continued to respond with appropriate and effective strategies to counter its adverse consequences. The impressive and decisive management of the pandemic helped to ameliorate the adverse outcome of the scourge such that it did not have the catastrophic impact that was initially predicted. As Parliament, we are deeply indebted to Tory's government for acquiring and rolling out vaccines that have gone a long way in saving people's lives. when our Phakathi, we unfortunately cannot forget the dark cloud that engulfed us as a result of the civil unrest where we experienced elements that are foreign to the core of what represents Eswatini. As Parliament, we did not advocate Be that as it may, we will ensure that remedial measures to avert these shortcomings will be taken to address this in the coming session as articulated in our strategic plan 2022-2026. Your Majesty, we were encouraged by your patient leadership and love for your nation. We applaud your wise leadership towards peace building, which also led to the involvement of SADC and the envisaged national dialogue. We also extend our appreciation for your insight and wise counsel in establishing the Reconstruction Fund that was created as a response to the unfortunate events in order to lend a hand to the business people who bore the brunt of the violent damage to property during that period. Your Majesty, whilst we acknowledge the dynamics of a modern society characterized by very high standards and high aspirations, it is my humble and considered view that our society has, from time immemorial, been capable of addressing all its challenges through constructive and peaceful means. Therefore, the core values of respect for elders, inhlonipho, respect for one another's dignity, buntu, tolerance, non-violence, unity, have always displayed our basic identity as Eswatini. Regrettably, in our modern society, these time-proven values that give us our unique identity are under threat. The continuance of these values, as well as the uniqueness of our people, hinges on the truthful conduct of both parliamentarians and the citizens at large. As parliamentarians, we are the custodians of our national independence, self-determination, and national sovereignty. As a result, we are required to demonstrate the utmost standards of integrity, loyalty, and patriotism, particularly allegiance to the throne and to the flag. As we begin the fourth session of the 11th Parliament, we remain committed to the enactment of essential legislation that will support the social and economic development of the country. Parliament's key priority this session is to expedite legislation that will ensure improved service delivery, job creation, and innovation. Special attention will be given to oversight for the Reconstruction Fund. In honor of your wish, Mbangazitha, we wish to bring together all measures necessary to help this country move forward and develop in leaps and bounds. Most importantly, we have an obligation to lead by example in a way that will foster unity in our great kingdom. We are only strong and formidable as a united force, a force that continues to ascribe to the values that make us uniquely Eswatini. Hlangaleze iParliament yakho wena wekunene ingithumile dlaliselwa ukuthi ngithule sipho setingoma letisihlanu letinzathu tembube yemhlaba letimbili tayo indlovu yemhlaba ngwenyama ndvuna Eswatini. With these remarks, it is now my singular honor and privilege to invite His Majesty to address this joint sitting and the nation and inaugurate the fourth session of the 11th Parliament. Ekuthi thoba lokhulu hlangalweze ngicela iphefumulele iParliament, phefumulele live, phefumulele nemhlaba kulesicephu sesine kuyo iParliament yelishumi nakunye. Bayithe kwenwa phakathi nongangesindaba.
Vamos
Ndovasi, emakhosikati, bantu abengosi, ndunankulu, emabandla, ekweluleka, tikhulu, lijaji lelikhulu, baqondzisi betindlu tetimbili, faka umqondzisi wendlu yesibaya sikhulu nendlu yetimbunga, lo sekele ndvunankulu, emalunga tindvuna tembuso, emalunga lamele emave kuleli, timenywa letibalulekile, emalunga onke etindlu totimbili teparlamente, timenywa letibalulekile nanonke bekunene sindvusele eparlamente bekunene.
Your Majesty, the Indlovukazi, Emakhosikati, Your Royal Highnesses, Prime Minister, Councillors, Chiefs, the Chief Justice, the Speaker of the House of Assembly, and also the Senate President, the Deputy Prime Minister, Cabinet Ministers, members of both Houses of Parliament, the distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, I greet you all here at Parliament.
Bekunene singakaqali sitawusatsa lethuba lekubonga tindlu njengoba tindlu totimbili tethule titfulo sitsi siyabonga kakhulu kwanzela nitsitse khona bekunene.
Ladies and gentlemen, before I begin my remarks, may I take this time to thank both Houses of Parliament for the gracious donations and gifts that they have handed over to me. I pray that Almighty God may bless you all.
It is a great honor to be with you here today for the official opening of the fourth session of the 11th Parliament of the Kingdom of Eswatini.
Kuyinvokoto lenkulu kimi kuba khona lapha kulomsebenzi wekuvula ngalokusemthethweni kwalesiqephu sesine seParlamente yelishumi nakunye yelive laseSwatini bekunene.
We extend a warm welcome to all here present, including those who have traveled from far and wide to be part of this auspicious event. We are cognizant of the fact that some of our people are following today's proceedings through electronic media platforms.
Bekunene asithathele lesikhathi semukele ngalokufuthumele wonke lokhona la. Kufaka ekhathi labo labesuka gashane labadele kuba ingcenye yalomsebenzi lobaleke kangaka. Siyathi ke nekuthi bantu labaningi balandzela lomsebenzi ngemithombo yokuxhumana lehlukene.
We are grateful that the country was able to host a few national events, as some could not be held due to the pandemic COVID-19 prevailing COVID-19 pandemic.
Kuyasithokozisa impela lokuthi live likhonile kubamba imikhosi yelive lembalwa ngoba lemningi ayibanjwanga ngesizathu salomahazane we-COVID-19.
We are grateful that the country was able to host a few national events, as some could not be held due to the prevailing COVID-19 pandemic.
Kuyasithokozisa impela lokuthi live likhonile kubamba imikhosi yeliva lembalwa ngoba leminingi ayikabanjwa ngesizathu salomahazane we-COVID-19.
We commend Mabutho Lutsango and Imbali for their continued participation at these ceremonies. We were particularly impressed to see one of the highest ever attendances at the Ingwala ceremony, making it a resounding success.
Sengoma emabutho Lutsango Imbali ngekuqhubeka babe ingcenye yale mikhosi yelive kuzithokozise kakhulu kubona tinombolo etsetulu kakhulu talabete emikhosini wencwala lokwende ukuthi ibe impumelelo lemangalisako.
Our Ingwala was held in the face of a COVID-19 pandemic that placed our health sector on high alert in managing large numbers. We thank the Lord Almighty and our ancestors for guiding and protecting us throughout the ceremony.
Umkhosi wencwala yethu lonyaka ugujwe ngesikhathi lapho besibhekene ngqo namahazane. Litiko letempilo belime mantondolwane liqaphelisisile wathi sephela ukuthi libutho belibulala inyoka. Siyambonga mvelinganti nemadloti kusiqondzisa nokuzivikela waze waphela lomkhosi.
We must commend the health workers and all the support staff for coming out in full force and working tirelessly to ensure that precautions were being observed.
Singomanga lokusetulu tisebenzi teltiko letetempilo nabo bonke labasebenta nabo ngekuphuma ngetingani basebenta ngekutikhandla kwenta siciniseko ukuthi tinyathelo zokutivikela tiyalandzelwa.
Everybody present was tested, while many people took advantage of the opportunity to get vaccinated, myself included. I am here today proudly inoculated and as healthy as can be.
Wonke loweta kulomkhosi wahlolwa ukuthi unawo yini lo mkhuhlane. Labanye bathatha lelithuba kuthi bajove nami ngenta njalo ngibe lapha ngesibinzi lesikhulu ngathi kuthi ngijovile ngiphilile ngingumcemane.
We urge those who still have doubts and fears to put aside the myth and theories about the vaccines, as they are not here to kill but to give long life to our nation.
wonke lo wethu kulom bekunene anginxuse bonke labasangathita ngekwesaba kuthi babeke eceleni izinkulumo letethusako netindzaba letingasito etindzabeni temjovo njengoba awuketeli ukutawusibulala kepha kutawusipha impilo lenze sisive.
The country has a long way to go in reaching her vaccination target, as only 28% of the total population is vaccinated.
Bekunene iseyinze impela indlela lekumele sihambe kude sifinyelele emgomeni lobhekekile wekugomela lo mahazane ngoba kungunyalo tibalo tikhomba ukuthi ekhulwini bangemashumi lamabili nesiphohlongo lesebagomela umkhuhlane eveni bekunene.
As the nation adapts to new normal of living side by side with COVID, let us learn from the lessons of Ingwala on how to ensure safety of participants in large gatherings so that we can soon get back to normalcy. COVID is not going anywhere, so we need to learn how to live with it.
Sive sisancibilikela lempilo yethu lensha yokuphilisana 19 asifunze kuletinhlelo tentiwa ngencwala kuthi wenda njani kuqinisekisa kuphepha kwalabetile emcimbini lobuthanisa ticuku tebantfu kuze kuthi kutawuphuthumiseka kubuyela empilweni lejwayelwe nguwonke wonke sekubonakele bekunene kuthi lo mahazane akatsinyisi ngako thina sifunzeni ukuthi singaphilisana njani naye.
Let us also use the Ingwala experience at upcoming national activities such as Makadu and Good Friday, among others. We are now more experienced in preventing infections.
Bekunene sales hamba ngalolunyawo besilubambe ngemkhosi wencwala nasigubha lemimikhosi yelive lonyaka lefaka ekhathe emaganu nemkhosi wephasika naleminye kusobala ukuthi sesifunzile ukugwema lomkhuhlane kuthi singathelelani.
Though that the worst has not passed us, we still need to remain vigilant.
Asekwayise sive bekunene kuthi awukathuthi lomkhuhlane ngakho asihlale ngenkombe bekunene.
The ceremony was further blessed by the rains that have been falling consistently since Ingwala. They are much needed resource for the country's plans to improve her agricultural output.
Ingwala yalonyaka iphinzi yabusiswa timvula letesolo taqala nayikala. Letimvula tingumcebo lodzingeke kakhulu ekuthuthukiseni imikhiqito yetekulima.
We should take full advantage of these rains by harvesting the water for irrigation, which is vital if we are to meet our food self-sufficiency targets.
Bekunene kumele sisebenzise lelithuba laletimvula kahle ngekuthi sivimbe lamanti siwalondvolote kahle kude sitawukhona ukuthi sinisele tilimo tethu kude sikhone kufeza umgomo wekukhiqita kudla lokwanele.
At present, we still fall short of this goal, but we remain encouraged by the current rains.
Wanyalo bekunene live libonakala lisalela emuva ehlangothini lokudondla kodwa letimvula lechulukako tiyasekhuthatha bekunene.
Farming has not been easy for some, as tractors were unable to plow the fields, but tilling in other areas was not hindered.
Siyathi ke bekunene kuthi kulima kube madima lonyaka ngoba tigulumba betiphathwa emasimini kwangakhonakali kulima sesibonga ukuthi kuletinye tindzawo kulima akavimbelekeki.
The rains also bring to light the need for the construction of more dams to preserve this water for use in subsequent years where we could be faced
Ule emehlo ukuthi kwakhiwe emadamu lamanye kude kutokhongoteleka emanti emvula alondvoloteke emanti kude awusetshenziswe eminyakeni letako uma kungenteka ukuthi sibhekane netimo tesomiso.
We are, however, concerned about the negative impact that the above normal rainfall has had on our roads and bridges, causing an inconvenience and all road users. They have also affected the structures of people's homes.
Ukhathatha kwethu ngiko nje ukuthi letimvula letichuluka ngalokungakavami tinemithelo lomubi emigwaqweni nasemabhlowini elive kuphinde khinyabete bonke bashayeli betimoto nebasebenzisi bemigwaqo letimvula tendlule tabanga umonakala nosemakhaya ebantfu bekunene.
The estimated cost to repair damages caused thus far is in excess of 150 million. Emalangeni. We can assure the nation that government and its agencies have developed a comprehensive maintenance and rehabilitation program to restore normality as soon as reasonable possible.
Bekunene lo monakalo lobangwe timvula ulinganisele emalini lengakwe tigidzi netilikhulu nemashumi lasihlanu semalangeni. Sive singasiniketa siqiniseko ukuthi hulumende nawo bonke lasebenzisana nabo sebaluhlanganisile luhlelo lokulungisa kanye nokuvusetela takhiwe letilimele kude kuthi kusebenta kubuyele kube ngilokufanele esikhatsini lesifishane.
As the nation is aware, we declare 2022 as the year of attaining first world status. Unfortunately, we have arrived and the dream has not gone our way.
Sive bekunene sidawukhumbula ukuthi samemetela 2022 njengemnyaka wekufika esigabeni semave lathuthukile. Lokubhlungu ke ukuthi sifikile ku-2022 kepha liphupho alikahambi njengokufisa kwethu.
This was due to several reasons, not least the COVID-19 pandemic that disrupted economic activity, halted trade, caused job losses, and those who had hope lost it. Tax revenues dropped significantly, making it difficult for government to deliver on her obligations.
Lokhu ke kubangele izathu letisabalele ikakhulu nangimahazane nangu lophathamise kusebenza kwemnotho wamisa tekuthengiselana bantu balahlekelwa imisebenzi lebenethemba lashabalala lokwabangela ukuthi kube medima kuhulumende kuthi aphumelelise tibopho takhe.
The other disruptions were caused by the conflict which resulted in loss of lives and vandalisms of property. Such should never repeat itself again.
Lokunye kuphathamseka kubangele dithungthungu letiholele kulahlekweni kwetimpilo tebantfu kanye nokulinyatwa kwembahla. Lokhu bekunene akumele kuphinzeke emhlabeni.
The country has since provided a reconstruction fund to assist those who lost property and valuable assets. We trust that those affected request for assistance from the fund.
Live la sukumisa sikhwama sekwakha kabusha kusita labo labalahlekelwe impahla. Siyethemba ukuthi labo labatsinzeka sebafakile ticelo tekuncepetelwa kulesikhwama.
Reconstruction will not happen overnight, but we hope it will revive the confidence in our business sector and also create job opportunities, since we have a high level of unemployment in the country, which is an undesirable situation.
Bekunene kuvusa takhiwo letilimele akusiyo umsebenzi lolula. Kepha siyethembisa ukuthi kutabavuselela bosomabhizinisi baphindze basungule imisebenzi ngoba sibhekene nesimo lesibi kakhulu futhi singadzingeki nakancane leso sokweselakala kwemisebenzi eveni bekunene.
The economic challenges emanating from the pandemic are not unique to Eswatini. It is a global phenomenon which has made it difficult to seek support from external sources and friends of the kingdom, as they are equally affected.
Letinginamba temnotho letite nalo mahazane atikahlaseli live laseSwatini kuphela. Hlaba wonke ushayekile. Lokhu kwenta ukuthi kube matima nekwenzela lusito kulamanye emave kanye kubangani belive ngoba nabo bakhala siyoyoyo.
Potential investors have become more hesitant to move out of their countries as they continue to monitor the COVID-19 situation.
Bahlanyeli timali lasebengafuna ukuthi eveni bamancika kuthi baphume yini eveni maveni abo basasinga umkhanya babuka ukuthi le COVID haza ibhekaphi.
We thank God that He kept us going. So we need to come together, meet and find ways to address these challenges by creating jobs at small, medium and large enterprise levels.
Sibonga somandla losende saqhubeka njalo ngakho thina singa kubuya ndzawonye sihlangane siphindze sithole indlela yokukhulumisa letinsayeya ngekuthi sakhe emathuba emisebenzi emabhizinisini lamancane nasemkhatsini kunye nalamakhulu kude sive sitoqasheka bekunene.
It goes without saying that we need to put in a lot of effort to help us get to a first world status. This must not just be a dream, but a reality.
Kusebaleni bekunene kuthi ngeke sifake umfutho lomkhulu kuze sifike esigabeni semave lathuthukile. Lokhu akungasali kuliphupho kepha sigcine sikuphethe ngetandla.
In our quest to become a developed nation, our investment targets need to aim higher. We need enterprises that will generate a turnover running in billions of emalangeni.
Ekulangateleni kwethu kufuna kuba live lethuthukile kuhlanyela kwethu timali kufanele kungene ezingeni eliphakeme. Sidzinga emabhizinisi latawenda tigitsigiti temalangeni bekunene.
We are aware that such projects are guided by the availability of good electricity supply. However, the Eswatini contract with Eskom is coming closer to an end.
Siyati ke lokuthi imisebenzi emkhulu kangako iphumeleliswa bukhona kahle bagezi. Singakhohlwa ke nekuthi sivumelwane selive sekuthengiselana gas neEskom seyidudane nekuphela.
It is important it is important as a Maswati that by the time it elapses, we would have become energy independent. This is why we need to urgently step up our plans to integrate alternative sources of energy supply to the local grid.
Kuthi kuphela lesivumelwane sekuthengiselana kusikhande sesitikititela gas lowenele. Yingakho kumele sigijimise emapulani ethu ekukhiqida gesi ngaletinye tindlela.
It is for this reason that we are looking to the thermal power project to generate electricity locally. We are aware that the global community is coal-generated power.
Kungaleso sizathu bekunene live libuka ekuphehleni gesi ngemalahle. Siyathi nekuthi tive temhlaba tibuka indzaba yokuncamula kuphehla gesi kusetshenziswa emalahle bekunene.
This compels us to rely on experts to help put in place the available technology that is able to minimize the impact of emissions to the environment.
Lokhu ke kubita ukuthi sitfole tingcweti letawuhlanganisa tebuchwephesha letawusita kunciphisa kukhiciteka kwemvuthu lelimata ludwadwasi.
We also need to maximize on solar energy as well as wind turbines and explore natural gas options. Hydropower generation can also make use of the abundant rains. Put together, these projects ought to play a critical role in the resuscitation of our economy. It is important that this is done before the Eskom contract expires.
Sithinga kubukusisa kusebenzisa gas welanga wemoya kunye ne-natural gas kuphehla gesi ngemandi kungaphindze kusebenzise letimvula etiningi kulamalanga. Yonke lemisebenzi lemikhulu lena ingadlala inzima lebonakalako ekuvuseni umnotho walelive. Kubalulekile ke ukuthi lokhu kwenteke singakapheli isivumelwane sekuthengiselana na Eskom.
As we enter the year 2022, we must take stock and learn from the gains and missed opportunities of the previous year if we are to make chart a sustainable way forward.
Bekunene sisangena emnyakeni wa 2022. Asesibuke emuva emnyakeni lophelile. Sihlolisise leto timbo letibe inzuzo kithi. Nalapho shaye eceleni khona lokho kutasisita siqambe indlela yokuqhubekela phambili lekhonsako.
Life teaches us that sometimes we need to fall in order to rise, and that we need to fail in order to succeed.
Empilo bekunene isifundzisa ukuthi ngalesinye isikhathi sidzinga ukuthi siwe kungikhona sitawuvuka nekuthi singakwehluleka kude sitawuphumelela.
What becomes how we choose to overcome the challenges that life places in our path. We ended the year with the elements of division among the populace. This will not help the country move forward.
Lokusehlukanisa konke kusikhaze kahle kubese kuba indlela lesikhethako kunqoba imicabo lebekwa impilo endleleni yethu. Umnyaka lesisuka kuwo siuphethe kunekuba nhlalunhlalo esiveni. Lokho ke kungeke kulisite lelive kuqhubekela phambili.
As a Maswati, we have a way of engagement which is to sit down and dialogue. We now have a constitution that is a product of a national consultation, and it also prescribes how to go about making amendments where the need arises.
Bekunene singe Maswati sina indlela yokukhulumisana lokuhlala phasi kubonisanwe. Sinawo nemthetho sisekelo longumphumela wokubonisana kwesive sonke. Lophinde ucacise kabanti kuthi ungachitshelwa kanjani uma sekunesidingeko.
We should not sway from this route. It provides that recommended changes to the Constitution can start at Sibaya, which is the ultimate decision-making body of our people, then taken to Parliament for adoption and promulgated into law.
Bekunene asingaphambuki kulona mzila ngoba ubeka kuthi tinguquko letinconywako kumele tiqale esibayeni lapho tinqumo tonke teMaswati tithathwa khona bese wehlela eParliamente uyawudzingidwa ube ngumthetho.
We discourage the use of force and violence to influence change, as we all deserve the life in peace, as we all deserve to live in peace. It is not a crime to have diverging views, but engaging in dialogue creates a better outcome for all, as every person needs advice from time to time.
Bekunene asikukhuthati kusetshenziswa kwemandla neludlame kuphoqelela ukuthi kube netinguquko ngoba sonke kufanele siphilisane ngokuthula. Akusilo icala kuba nemibono lehlukene kodwa kuhlala phasi kukhulunyiswane kuletha imiphumela lengcono yawonke ikakhulu kati ngoba wonke umuntu uyakudinga ukuboniswa ngesikhathi.
The nation will recall that we embraced the smart partnership dialogue because we are a nation whose values are anchored in resolving matters around the table. Just like the tripartite forum for labor issues and ultimately the Sibaya dialogue. All these form part of our efforts to promote peace.
Sive stawukhumbula bekunene kuthi semukela kukhulumisana lokubitwa nge-smart partnership ngoba sisive lesigcile ekuqathululeni tinkinga sihleti etafuleni njengaloku sinelibandla lenhlanganisela itisebenti baqashi nahulumende kubuka tindzaba tetisebendi konke lokhu kuyimedamo yekuthuthukisa kuthula eveni bekunene.
However, due to COVID, these types of engagements could not take place. We are thankful that we are seeing the pandemic subside, which gives room for these consultation forums to resume.
Noko-ke ngenxa ye-COVID-19 tindlela tethu tekukhulumisana atikhonanga ukuthi tendeke. Siyabonga ukuthi sibona lo mkhuhlane sewuya ngekwehla lokusinika lithuba lokuthi lokukhulumisana kwendeke.
Let us put the country first and not push self-interest. Let us remain the peace-loving Emaswati we are known to be.
Asibeke live phambili kwengati fiso tethu Asiqhubekeni sibe ngulamaswati lathanza ukuthula njengaloku satiwa kanjalo emhlabeni.
We must return to the principles imparted to us from our predecessors. This country would not be what it is today if it were not for the ways of life we inherited from our forefathers.
Bekunene asibuyeleni emigomeni yelunyawo lesalithatha kulabasendvulela. Lelive leli ngaba lisiko loku lelingiko namuhla. Kube ngabe asithathanga tindlela tekuphila lesatimunya kubokhokho mkhulu bethu.
One of the significant learnings from the disruptions to the economy and schooling the past year was the important role ICT can play in our development.
Gonye bekunene lokugamile lesiphumenako kulokuphathamiseka etindzabeni tetemnotho kanye netetemfundvo kulomnyaka lophelile. Kube inzima lebonakalako lengadlalwa tebuchwephesha ekuthuthukeni kwethu.
In education, we saw how COVID affected schooling, and many schools turned to online learning, e-education.
Kutemfundvo sibonile ukuthi lo mahazane utiphatamise kanjani tikolo. Lokhu kwasekuholela ekutheni tikolo etinengi tiguqukele ekufundzeni ngetebuchwephesha lokuthiwa i-e-education.
This is a norm in modern societies where exercise books are being phased out and learning digitalized. We are also seeing ICT being used in what is called e-medicine.
Lokhu bekunene kwetayelekile emaveni lathuthukile. Lapho khona sekwabekwa eceleni kusetshenziswa kwemaphepha. Kwangena tabongqondo mshina. Siphinde sibone tebuchwephesha tisetshenziswa ketempilo lekubitwa ngokuthi i-e-medicine.
This is by no means a low-cost investment, but we should not count the expense of a tablet for our children as a hindrance.
Bekunene lokhu ke akuthi ngemanani laphansi. Kepha singete sabala kudula kwaletiqebethu bese kuba lugibe emfundweni yebantwana.
Medical practice has also gone digital. Once the country sets a goal, all things are possible. Nothing comes cheap, and meeting this cost is part of our obligation.
Netetempilo nato setingenele kutebuchwephesha. Uma nje live litibekele umgomo tonke timbo tebe setiyendeka. Kutebe kunene lokutamahala. Embeleni nekuhlangabetana naletindleko kuyingcenye yalokubhekekile.
Countries pay the price to be where they are. As they make it happen, the more income they generate. We need this mentality if we are to create the billionaires that we wish to see in this country.
Onke emavele sathuthukile alahlekelwe nglokuthithe ukuthi afinyelele lapho sekakhona khona. Benda ukuthi kuyendeka basenda njalo kwadlondlobala umnotho waya embili. Awubekithi lo mqondo bekunene uma sifuna kukhicita labo sotigitsigitsi lesisekubabona kulelive.
The nation is encouraged to use these modern technologies to empower themselves and not to commit crimes such as digital fraud. We must also stop the cyberbullying and dehumanization of other people.
siyakhuthaza ukuthi sisebenzise letindlela tesimanje manje kutithuthukisa sona tingasetshenziswa kudala emacala lafaka ekhathi kukhwabanisa kufanele siphinze sikuyekele lokuhlikitana etinkundleni tekuxhumana nekungqunula labanye bantfu.
It is pleasing that the country has already passed legislation to guard against this. We must learn to use ICT to our advantage profitable.
Noko kuyathokozisa kwathi ukuthi live selushayile umthetho naloku. Kumele sifunze kusebenzisa tebuchwephesha kuthi njengisa thine.
Throughout the world, small and medium enterprises, SMEs, are known to be the backbone of any economy, and Eswatini is no exception.
Bekunene emhlabeni wonke jikelele emabhizinisi lamancane nalasemkhathini angumgogodla yemnotho nelakangwane ke etelasalela ngaphandle.
It is pleasing to note that government has created several organs that are charged with the responsibility to develop and support micro, small, medium enterprises and provide access to finance.
Kuyajabulisa lokubona ukuthi uhulumende uhlanganise tigungu letehlukene tanika umsebenzi wekuthuthukisa nekusekela emabhizinisi asaqatfuta lamancane kanye nemabhizinisi lasemkhathini wendlula wenda kwakhonakala ukuthi bathole imali tekusebenta bekunene.
Key economic sectors with the potential to grow the economy have been identified to play a leading role in this regard, namely agriculture, mining and energy, tourism, education, and ICT and manufacturing. We are confident that these sectors have a potential to create job opportunities for Eswatini.
Tingoni tetemnotho letingaba Tingoni tetemnotho letingaba nelikhono lokukhulisa umnotho setibukiwe ngemehlo elikhosi. Kubheke ukuthi tidlale inzima yekuhola ekufukulwa kwemnotho. Letinhlangothi ngunati tekulima umnotho waphasi nemandla agezi tekuvakasha temfundvo tebuchwephesha netekukhicita.
In 2021, the domestic economy continued to face several economic disruptions. Despite these developments, the economy showed some resilience with the economic performance moving towards a recovery path. The rebounding of economic activities was supported by a resurgence of external claim supporting our export-oriented economy.
Nga 2021 umnotho walapha ekhaya waqhubeka nekudonsa amatima. Noma kunjalo umnotho wakhombisa qinisela wakhombisa timpawu tekuvuka. Lokuvuka kwemnotho kusithe tekuthengiselana ngaphandle kwaleli.
Within the medium term, though highly uncertain economic recovery is anticipated.
Kulesikhathi lesimathutane noma kuyibona ngayo nje kuvuka kwemnotho kona kubhekekile.
Moreover, reconstruction and strategies remain crucial for sustained and equitable economic development.
Ngetulu kwako konke lokho tindlela tekwakha umnotho kabusha netekuvusa tichubeke tibe nguletibalekile ekuvukeni kwemnotho losimeme nalole ngcubekela phambili.
Ongoing infrastructure development as identified in the recovery strategies, continues to be a catalyst to obtaining sustainable growth. This supports economic activity through availing the necessary infrastructure, which are all crucial to the ease of doing business and development.
Bekunene imisebenzi entuthuko leqhubekako njengalokhu ivediwe kulamasu ekuvusa umnotho iqhubeka iba inqola yekuthola ukukhula kwemnotho losimeme. Lokhu kusekela imisebenzi yonke yetemnotho ngekuletha konke lokudzingekile emisebenzini yentuthuko lebaluleke kakhulu ekwendeni ukuthi kube malula kwenda ibhizinisi kanye nokuthuthukisa umnotho.
In order to create an enabling environment for our kingdom to develop, government needs to budget for capital projects.
Kude sikhone kusukumisa indzawo levumako yalombuso wethu ukuthi uthuthuke, hulumende kumele aphakele imisebenzi emikhulu netakhiwo.
These include, but not limited to, infrastructure development, such as road construction, provision of potable water, dams for irrigated agriculture, health facilities, energy, factory shelves, and others.
Lokhu kufaka ekhathi kepha kungagcini ngekuthuthukisa kwemisebenzi yentuthuko lefaka ekhathi kwakhiwa kwemigwaqo, kutholakala malula kwemanti, kwakhiwa kwemadamu ekunisela tekulima, takhiwo tetempilo, bukhona bagezi, emahulumba ekhicitela nalokunye lokunengi.
An important new addition to the large irrigation infrastructure is the Mkonvo Wavuma Water Augmentation Project.
Lokusha lokusanza kungedwa kulohlangothi lokunisela lokungumthamo lomkhulu ngulena yemkhonvo nengwavuma.
It will bring under irrigation about 10,000 hectares of land, mainly located in the Eswatini region, with potential for more land in future.
Lomsebenzi lona utawukhona kunisela indzawo lengaba ngemahektar lang 10,000. Lenengi yakhona lendzawo isesigodini saseshiselweni. Inalo futhi nelikhono lokunisela lenkulu kakhulu indzawo esikhatsini lesitabo.
We are also grateful to the Republic of India for making the parliament building project a possibility. This comes at a time when the country has embarked on increasing the number of constituencies, which now stand at 59 from 55.
Si chabulela kakhulu live lasendiya lelende iproject yeparlamente yaba impumelelo. Lokhu kufike ngesikhathi lapho live likhulisa khona esetim namuhla tingemashumi lasihlanu nemfica tisuka kuye 55.
Projections are that more are still to come in the near future, so that people can walk a reasonable distance to the Tingundla centers. The Elections and Boundaries Commission continues to work towards delivering free and fair elections which is fairly represented in Parliament.
Tingomba tithi tiningi tingundla letiseta esikhatsini lesidudane kude sive siqhambi sigamu lesithe nasiya etingundleni libandla letemingcele netekuvota liyaqhubeka nokusebenta ekubeni lilethe kukhethwa kwesive kube ngilokulula kuphindze kube ngilokwemukelekako umhlaba wonke.
We trust that all those who are associated with this initiative roles their expected roles diligently.
Siyathemba bekunene ukuthi bonke labanike lo msebenzi batawenda ngokuthi misela lokukhulu.
The country experienced a significant shortfall in the collection of revenue compared to the previous years, which was witnessed by many other countries across the globe.
Bekunene nasikhathalisa neminyaka leyendlulile live likoleke lokuncane kakhulu etimalini telive lokuyibo leyehlele wonke umhlaba bekunene.
Rearranging our priorities is the challenge that we shall continue to grapple with in the medium term. There's no other route to sustainable development.
Uhlelembisa kabusha tidingeko tethu ngiyona nsayele sitayibhekana nayo kwesikhashana kweminyakana ngoba kude ijikane khona lentuthukwini lekonsile bekunene.
During 2022, there will be a focus on improving information management on fiscal database in all spheres of government, as well as further improvements in fiscal policy to ensure effective collection of tax and non-tax revenue.
Kulomnyaka wa 2022 kutabane kunakisisa ekusebenziseni nasekuphatheni kangcono kwelwati lokuthi imali tahulumende kumele sisebenze njani nekuthi tende ini kuto tonke tingoni tahulumende siphinde silungisise imigomo yetimali eveni kude kukolekeke kahle imithelo netimali tahulumende bekunene.
There's no doubt that this will have to be coupled with improved financial management and prudent expenditure to maintain a sound fiscal environment.
Akungabateki kwekuthi lokhu kumele sikwende kanye nekuthi sende kangcono tindlela tethu tekuphatha timali nekunakisisa indlela lesisebenzisa ngayo timali kude sigcine simo lesamukelekile setimali eveni bekunene.
Ensuring that corruption is given no room to infiltrate our development initiatives in all spheres is of utmost importance.
Bekunene kubalekile kakhulu kwekuthi sende siqiniseko ukuthi bobabuli abanato titiba tekwenda ingohlakalo yabo balimate imigomo yethu yentuthuko eveni.
Transport, infrastructure and services remain the key driver of economic and community development. It is for this reason that we welcome the completion of the Likula Big Bend Road and the progress made on the upgrades of the Manzini-Mbadlana Highway.
Imigwaqo netakhiwo kuyene misebenzi yetinqola nguyona njini lenkulu yokuthuthukisa imimango nemnotho bekunene. Ingakho sikujabulela kuphela kwemigwaqo losokulukhula uye Big Bend sidumise nemsebenzi lomuhle kulomgwaqo losuka kaManzini uye eMbadlane.
The improvements that have been done in the rural areas by introducing the pro-based technology and the single seal approach to road paving has also contributed to the improvement of the country's road network, including all-weather accessibility.
Intuthuko bekunene lendeke emaphandleni ngekufaka lolutiya lokuthiwa i-pro-base kuyithuthukise kakhulu imigwaqo yakithi ikakhulu kwenda ukuthi kuhambeke noma kukusiphi isimo selitulu.
Government will continue with her program of fixing the damaged roads.
Hulumende bekunene uzoqhubeka neluhlelo lwakhe lokulungisa imigwaqo lelimele.
Tourism is among the key growth sectors that have been identified for economic recovery in the country, with great potential for job creation, GDP growth, and resource mobilization.
Deluvakasho tingulenye ingoni lebonakele ukuthi inemandla ekufukula umnotho. Iphindze idale amathuba lamaningi emisebenzi eveni. Kukhule imikhiqizo yelive, kuphindze kudale ukutholakala kwetimali malula.
However, the emergency and outbreak of the virus crippled the sector, as we have witnessed a significantly low number of tourists visiting our shores since 2020.
Kepha kufika kwalo mahazane weligciwane kuyithikamete kakhulu le business njengoba tinombolo tetivakashi letitha eveni tehle kakhulu kabi kusuka ngemnyaka wa 2020.
To boost the tourism sector, government will continue to promote public-private partnerships aimed at enhancing tourism products development and diversification.
Bekunene kote ulmende asekele teluvakasho eveni utoqhubeka akhankasele kubambisana nekusebenzisana kwaulmende nabo bosomabhizinisi ekwakheni tintfo letawukhanga tivakashi tiphindze tehlukahluke hayi lokwena intfo yinye velonke.
Also, government is in the process of facilitating visas on arrival as well as electronical to enhance ease access of tourists to the kingdom.
Hulumende upishanekile lokumkhuluma ulungisa tindlela letilula kwekuthi ivakashi thole maphepha ekungena eveni khona emahekeni elive noma khona etinkundleni tekuqhubana ngabogezi.
One of the most significant contributions to this sector is the recent launch of the 24-hour border facility at Ngwenya. This will make travel to Eswatini more convenient. It will further enhance trade and improve the ease of doing business in Eswatini.
Bekunene kuvulwa kweliheke laseNgwenya lingasavalwa kwengete umthamo lobonakalako kutelivakasho eveni. Lokhu sekutowenda ukuthi kube lula ukuvakashela eSwatini kuphindze kwende ngcono tekuthengiselana kuphindze kwende kube lula futhi kushiphe kwende ibhizinisi eSwatini bekunene.
We appreciate the good cooperation that happily exists between the Kingdom of Eswatini and the Republic of South Africa, which has made this long-cherished goal a reality.
Sithumisa lobudlelwane lobuhle lobukhona bekubambisana emkhathisini wabohulumende wesikhwahlande newakithi lobende kufezeke leliphupho lethu ledala.
As means to improve the business climate, a review of the industrial and investment policies, as well as developing a national handcraft policy, will be undertaken by government in this coming year.
Bekunene hulumende lonyaka utosebentela kwendela simo sebhizinisi sibe ngcono kunakuqala. Ubuyeketa imithetho nemigomo etekhiqita nekutshalwa kwetimali lekwakhiwa kwemgomo welive wemisebenzi yetandla.
Alongside these revenues is the continued process of establishing an electronic one-stop shop for ease of doing business in Eswatini. This facility will be hosted at the Royal Science and Technology Park and is targeting at facilitating opening of business within 5 days.
Kusetshenzwa indzaba yekwakha lehhovisi etinzanjeni talemisakato etekuchumana nebuchwepheshe letosita bosomabhizinisi ukuthi bakhone ukutivulela ibhizinisi bathole timpepha kungakapheli amalanga lasihlanu. Lo msebenzi lona utoganakisa lekasongqondvo epokweni.
The challenges the world faces today require that countries be self-reliant on many aspects. These include availability of air connectivity and infrastructure.
Bekunene letinsaya takula malanga tibita kutsi live timele timele letiningi. Lokhu bekunene kufaka ekhathi kukhona kundizela kulamanye emave kunye netinkhulumo letifanele.
The country is at an advanced stage in re-establishing its own national airline, as aviation is critical for socio-economic development.
Live selivele sesigabeni lesiphakeme kuvuleni kabusha indiza yelive njengoba tekundiza tibalulekile ukuthuthukiseni tempilo nenhlalakahle eveni.
It remains government's priority to achieve a food security status that enable all Eswatini to have access to adequate, safe and nutritious food.
Bekunene solo umgomo lomkhulu wahulumende ukuthi sifinyelele kubeni nekudla lokwanele kude sive sidle kahle kudla lokunemaseko lamathathu futhi lokubotsholiwe.
The sector has realized some improvements in its performance as production of agricultural commodities has increased during the past year.
Leltiko leli lithuthukile impela emisebenzini walo ngoba tilimo tikhulile eminyakeni lowendlulile.
Government will continue to prioritize provision of services to the farming community to support agricultural production by providing subsidized farm and tractor services to support maize production and other crops.
Bekunene hulumende utawuqhubeka akubeke embili kusekela abalimi eveni ngekubaniketa tintfo tekulima letingemanani laphansi kunye netikhulumba tebalimi bembila naletinye tibhidvo.
This support has recently been boosted by the donation of new tractors from Japan. We encourage the nation to make good use of this essential machinery to increase cultivation this farming season and beyond. We commend the partnership between the two countries that has made this possible.
Nomsebenzi wekusekela abalimi eminyakeni lophekilile ufukuliwe kakhulu ngesikhathi live leJapani lisinikelela ngetikhulumba takanokusho. Ngakho-ke sekutsata sive kwekuthi sitisebentise kahle kukhuliswe emazinga etekulima eveni kusukela kuletimvula leti neminyakeni lotako. Siyabadumisa budlelwane bethu nalelive bunetithelo letinhle kakhulu.
The world over weather and climate services are increasingly becoming essential. While this has had a positive impact on our water storage facilities, it has also negatively affected agriculture and infrastructure, to mention but a few.
Bekunene mhlaba wonke lelitiko letangoma teltu selifika esigabeni lapho selibazingeko lesingeke siphile ngaphandle kwaso. Noma letimvula tisithe kakhulu utingungu tethu tekonga emanti eveni. Tiphinze tabane imitselela lemibi tekulima nasetakweni kulokumbalwa.
We are pleased that the Kingdom is on a path to mainstream climate action across all sectors, enhancing early warning systems, preparedness, and reducing emissions to ensure that property and human life is protected from climate impacts.
Siyajabula ukuthi live lisemkhankasweni wehlelembisa tindzaba tesimo selitulu kuto tonke tingoni telive kude sive sishese satiseke nakuta timo letibucayi noma lekutilungiselela kunye nekwehlisa tintuthu letibulala idvadvasi. Lokhu kwentelwa ukuthi sive kunye nempahla siphephe ebungotini besimo selitulu bekunene.
The Kingdom of Eswatini acknowledges and values the importance of the youth in the socio-economic development and progress of this nation. This year, the country will accelerate efforts to continue creating an enabling environment for the youth's innovation and creativity to flourish.
Litawushaktelisa imetamo yekuqhubeka nekudala simo lesivumako kude kusitakale kuphindze kusekeleke imicondvo lemisha nalekhaliphile yebantfu labasha eveni.
This year, the country will accelerate efforts to continue creating an enabling empowerment environment for the youth's innovation and creativity to flourish.
Golomnyaga live tawushaktelisa imetamo yekuqhubeka nekudala simo lesivumako kude kusitakale kuphindze kusekeleke imicondvo lemisha nalekhaliphile yebantfu labasha eveni.
It is critical that our young people are given the appropriate skills that will empower them in economic growth initiatives of all scales.
Kubalulekile bekunene bekuthi bantfu labasha banikete makhono laceceshekile labatobasinta ukuthi bafukule lomnotho kuto tonke tingoni telive bekunene.
Our young people are encouraged to take advantage of the youth revolving and regional development funds to ensure financing of qualifying applications so that they may create more jobs for their peers.
Insha iyakhuthazwa ukuthi isebenzise sikhwama salabasha nesekuthuthukisa tinkundla kude kusekeleke ngetimali kude kusekeleke ngetimali leto ticelo letifanele kuze nabo batoqasha bonzanga yabo.
It is important that proper training is given to the youth so that so they can develop the required business plans.
Bekunene kubalekile ukuthi bantu labasha bafundiswe kabani kude bakhona ukukakela amaphepha eqala ibhizinisi lafuneka mihla le.
For our school-going children, we pray that there will be no disruptions. It is good to see them back in class after almost 2 years at home. The effects of this setback will be felt for many years to come.
Ubantwana besikolo sithanazela ukuthi kube bede kuphazamiseka kwabo esikolweni. Kuhle kubabona sebabuyele esikolweni emva kweminyaka lemibili bahlele emakhaya. Leyo mithelela leyo izatosikhalisa iminyakana impela.
We are happy to note that the ministry has set plans to ensure that COVID-19 is well managed so as to prevent spreading infections to the homes.
Siyabonga ukuthi litiko letemfundvo lihlelembise kahle emapulane kwenda siqinisekiso sekuthi lo mahazane bantwana abamethwali babuyele nawo emakhaya bekunene.
It is also encouraging that vaccination in schools has begun, even for learners from 12 years and above. Testing must be encouraged now and again in order to eliminate COVID once and for all, and it won't be far from now that we do. We can only achieve this by working together.
Kuyakhuthaza ukuthi nekugomela igciwane sekuqalile etikole. Nakubantwana labaneminyaka lelishumi nakubili kuyayitu. Kumele sikhuthaze njalo ukuthi sive sihlole simo salegciwane. Kude siliqede swe futhi sekujudane lapho sidaliqeda khona. Lokhu kutawendeka nasibambisene sisive.
This time, we need to ensure we support the children to learn. No one should use our children and schools to fight personal agendas. We had our chance to learn, so let them be.
Nguloyo naloyo kumele enesiqiniseko ukuthi sisekela abantwana ukuthi bafunze. Kude lokumele asebenzise kabi abantwana netikolo kulwa timbitabo. Nathi sawathola emathuba nyalo ke nabo abafunze.
The country values the immense contribution that our elderly people have made to the development of Eswatini. We are therefore obligated to ensure they are well catered for through elderly grants and other social welfare services.
Kuligugu eveni kuba nebantu labadala labalisebenzele live futhi siyatikhenya ngabo. Simele ke kwenda siqiniseko sekuthi banakekeleka ngato timbasha tabogogo nabomkhulu kuye netiye tidzingo tabo bantu labadala.
In response to the vulnerability level experienced among the elderly persons, government will introduce a universal service cover for them next financial year.
Kulandzela lokuye lesukhandle kweselekile kibo. Hulumende utoqalisa umshwalense wabogogo nabomkhulu eminyakeni nodako wetimali.
As a Maswati, we respect our elders and we want to ensure that they get a dignified departure from this earth. This will come at no cost to the elderly, but will be fully financed by government.
Sisibe semaswati siyabatisa bogogo nabomkhulu. Ngingabo sifisa ukuthi umdali uma umdali sikababitile baphekeletele nesizotha lesibafanele bekunene. Kude labatawukhipha ecothweni kodwa uhulumende utatikhipha tonke tindleko tekwenda loko kwendeke.
Significant investment has been made by government and development partners in the health sector during the COVID-19 response. In this regard, we greatly appreciate our friends for the valuable support in this sector.
Dinekakhulu tinsambansamba letifakwe nguhulumende kanye netinini telive ekulweni nalomahazana. Sithanda ukuthatha lethuba kubonga tona tihlobo telive kuzisekela kangaka.
We also commend the brave and dedication healthcare workers for saving many lives that could have been easily lost to COVID-19.
Siphinde sibonge sibinzi zetisebenzi tetempilo letatinikela ekusinziseni imiphefumulo leminingi lengabe yasishiya emhlabeni ngenxa yalo mahazana.
We also thank all frontline workers who are in contact with people as they serve the nation for remaining resilient during this time, thus keeping the services in the country running efficiently.
Noma kuphethuke lesifo abazange bayekela ukusebenzi kepha baqhubeka batithela bentela ukuthi tonke tingoni telive tiqhubeke tisebenze kahle bekunene.
Despite the prevailing challenges around the COVID-19 pandemic, which has been with us for 2 years now, the HIV and AIDS response has been working tirelessly to ensure the country does not lose on the wonderful gains made so far.
Noma live solo libhekene ngona mahazane lo sethe iminyaka lemibili libandla lelilwa nesifo selubhubhane nalo alikatibeki nani phansi lenta tonke taba tekuthi singatikhanzi sesilahlekelwe kulomsebenzi lomuhle lesiwendile eminyakeni silwa nalesifo.
We would like to sincerely thank all Eswatini and donor partners who stood with us in such difficult times. We understand that no one stakeholder could have amassed the required resources to achieve such impressive results.
Sithanda ukubonga kakhulu eMaswati kanye netinini telive letakhetha temanathi etikhatsini letimatima. Siconza kahle ukuthi kude ngisho munye lobekangaba netimali letenele ayedwa tekwenda lo msebenzi omuhle wekulwa nalolubhubhane.
As we continue with the fight against HIV and AIDS, let us leave no one behind and continue to work collectively. The message for 2022 and beyond is focused on the fight, not the fright. Sibhekenene ngqo ne-AIDS asiyesabi.
As we sisaqhubeka silwa nalomasha ebhuqe asingashiyi ngisho munye ngemuva siqhubeke sisebenze ngekubambisana Mlayeto lesinawo kusukela kulomnyaka lesikuwo uthi asigcine kulembi hayi kwesaba noma kwesatshiswa. We are not afraid of HIV. We are taking it head on.
The Kingdom of Eswatini will continue to intensify efforts to establish, promote, and maintain good international relations with existing and new bilateral and multilateral partners.
Live laseSwatini litoqhubeka nemgomo walo weqinisisa imetamo yalo yekwakha. Lithuthukise liphinde ligcine tekudlelana nalamanye emave netinhlangano. Kuthi kube ngilokuhle bekunene.
We reiterate the solemnly wish of the Kingdom to strengthen relations with all countries of the world in the spirit and purpose of unity, peace, stability and cooperation under the umbrella of the United Nations.
Bekunene siphinde siyagcizelela namuhla kwekuthi kusifiso selive laKangwane kuba nebudlelwane lobuhle nawo onke emave emhlaba ngemoya wekwakha nekuthula nekusimama nekubambisana ngephansi kwesambulelo sakamhlabhlangane bekunene.
In this regard, we wish to remind eMaswati that the philosophy of friend to all and an enemy to none has been the political ethos of Eswatini since the time of our predecessors, who placed great value on a world anchored on peace, dialogue, respect, and common shared values.
Yingakho sifisa kukumbutha onke eMaswati kwekuthi lo mqondo weleswatini lothi sibangani nabo bonke asinasitha solo sathi khungelela kuwo lo mqondo kusukela kogogo omkhulu bethu laba babeka empili kwekuthi umhlaba usimamiswa ukuthula nekukhulumisana nenhlonipho kunye nokujabulela tintfo letinhle letisihlanganisako bekunene.
We are grateful for the various support from the friends of the Kingdom of Eswatini. We shall remain committed to the peace and stability that we want in our African continent and the world over.
Sibonga lesikutholile tililite live tisibambisa lapha nalapha eveni sitawuqhubeka sitibophelele ekuphakamiseni ukuthula nokusimama lokuyinto lesifisela live kati lethu leAfrika kunye nemhlaba bekunene.
The Kingdom is committed to attain the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals and the African Union aspirations of a better Africa that will propel our future to a better world.
Bekunene silive leSwatini sitimisela qinisekisa ukuthi sibe live letofinyelela kule migomo yentuthuko leyabekwa ngumhlabhlangane nenhlangano yethu yeAfrican Union lefisa live kati leAfrika lengcono letofukula likusasa lethu libe ngumhlaba longcono bekunene.
The next fiscal year provides a mixed window of challenges and opportunities to take action on a national, regional, continental, and international scale.
Lomnyaka wetimali lesingena kuwo ubukeka unetinsayeya nemathuba lekumele sibone ukuthi siwathini lakhaya esifundzeni kulive kati lethu kuye nasemhlabeni jikelele.
Government, the private sector, and development partners can provide an enabling environment to make this possible. To achieve this, We all have to share challenges, share resources, share opportunities, and share successes.
Hulumende tingabalele titimele kuyele tinhlangano lesibambisene nato tingenda ukuthi lesimo lesibhekene naso sibe kulesivumela ukuthi sikhole kwenda konke lesifise kukwenda bekune kude siphumelele kumele sikhone kushiyelana ligwayi ngetinsayeya sihlephulelane lesinako sishiyelane emathuba sikhombisane tindlela letiphumiselenako.
This will circumvent a financial cliff amidst a fiscal straitjacket in a new, normal and globalized world of the 21st century, and thus pave the way towards a promising and sustainable future for all eMaswati as we traverse on the new decade 2021 to 2030.
Nasenda njalo bekunene sitawukhona kuvika letikhilikiti lesibhekene nato kutemnotho nalesimo lesingadayeleki lesekumele siphile naso kude sikhone kufeza tinjongo teleminyaka kuya ku-2030 lapho kufanele sende impilo yeMaswati ibe ngcono bekunene.
As we are gathered here in Parliament, we recognize the important role that is played by the legislators in the development of this country.
Bekunene sisehlangene lapha eParliamente sinaka kakhulu inzima ledlalwa tishaya mthetho ekuthuthukiseni live bekunene.
We realize that COVID in the previous year presented parliamentarians with a challenging work environment, but we are pleased that you were able to ensure work proceeded as expected.
Siyati ukuthi eminyakeni lopheli mahazane wende kusebenza kweParliamente kwangabi melula kodwa sibonga ukuthi nikhonile ukuqhuba umsebenzi wenu njengoba kubhekekile bekunene.
We encourage you to continue placing the country in the forefront of all your endeavors as eMaswati, as Eswatini develops its national strategy for the next 25 years.
Siyanekutsataka ngokuthi liqhubeke libeke live embili njengoba live libhekene nemsebenzi wekwakha hlaka lentuthuko lwaleminyaka lengamashumi lamabili nesihlanu letako bekunene.
Finally, we wish to state that this is our season to regain what we have lost, to rebuild what has been destroyed, and to restore the peace. It is our season to reconcile our differences and map up a strategic way forward to revive our first world aspirations.
Sengigcina bekunene ngifisa ukuthi lesi sikhathi sethu sekuthi sibuyise lebe kusilahlekele sakhe lebe kubhidlitiwe siphinde sibuyisele ukuthula sikhathi sethu lesi sekuthi silethe kuyisana lapho bese singasaboni ngaso linye khona sivuselele liphupho lethu lekufinyelela emaveni lathuthukile nekuthola tindlela letikhonsako letosmikisa la sifisa khona.
To achieve this, a lot of hard work lies ahead. Let each and every one of us roll up our sleeves and put in the much needed effort to make this dream work.
Bekunene ngode sifike lapho kumele sisebenze ngokuthi khandla sikhwithe sibake onke amandla ethu kude kufezeke leliphupho.
Peace is the greatest gift one generation can give to another. Let us continue to guard and treasure our peace as a Maswati. The year 2022 is therefore a year of transformation.
Simple esikhulukati lesingasishiyela titukulwane lesitako. Ngakho ke asikhathisise sikujabulele ukuthula kwethu siMaswati. Ngakho lo mnyaka wa 2022 ngomnyaka wokwenda kabusha timbo bekunene.
It is now my singular honor to declare the fourth session of the 11th Parliament of the Kingdom of Eswatini officially open.
Lesigaba sesine seParlamente elishumi nakuye embuso weSwatini seyivulwe ngalokusemthethweni bekunene.
Siyabonga uNkulunkulu asibusa sonke bekunene.
I thank you. May Almighty God bless us all. Ayethe wena ungake izindaba uyimbubu yesabeko nje bathole izinyathi. Bube
Basta uma pulpito, 20 chava. Amalisha mimi hai kwa polisi. Unyamesa kwa baba. Usiye charity bye bye. Che, no baba ji.
Aselelane eParliament ngonyama ithi aphakamise kudla asekude bandeke uhome yonke iParliament
His Majesty will now exit the chamber and I will request that everyone is upstanding. Bayithe enophakathi.
Kabla makada pale matoza simba tuseme mfa. Mama zindaba. Mama na pale kwa kufikia tunale kuna mkoka kule simba ni. Ndio baba yake. Kwa hiyo nya.
Che. Unapaga. Silosikulume mvumo yakho mbangazita. Phela khulula sithembe sakho sembuto evikela ukuthi sambe sakubekana leminye imisebenzi ekhona. No, paga.
Mena basa me mfowata Sana. Baba usamkhathatela ngwane ndlovu. Ngabula makakabula. Makaka kama tutasima tosele mufa. Mambo la kune silwane. Basa chana manda. Uyababa kuyawuzela.
Bazashaka nomnyama nomimbathele
Khokha kune silwane.
umzimba kwembetha namfazana yawusangithumela.
Bazene silo skulu kwazana msakandaba.
Umoya ungabe
Hey, wena phakathi. Lela lehle mlisa.
Nene bangosilenhle selibhobile libhobezi lemhlaba sesiphefumulile silo semhlaba nene bangwane njengoba namhlaba engishito noma singena nayo itransmission ukuthi mhlali ilanga lelimkhulu naleli mcoka evenile Eswatini njengoba sibhekile ukuthi silo semhlaba siphefumule umhlaba ekuvuleni isigaba sesine seParliament yelishumi nakunye nene bangosilenhleke namhlanje ngoba imbubo emhlaba seyivela iphefumulile lapha sekusho kona kucela kokusebenza kwemalunga eParliament etindlu 32 nelivele Eswatini lonke nje jikelele nene bengosilenhleke imbobo emhlaba isaphefumula khona ngakhathi eParliament sibonile sivile empeleni ibeka tigaba netigaba letehlukene lelivele libheke ukuthi lisebentele ngaphansi kwato lebheke ukuthi futhi live lisebentele tikwato liphinze futhi litithuthukise nene bengosilenhle lokukhulu kakhulu imbobo emhlaba icele kona ukuthula even Eswatini kanye nekukhulumisana kilo livele Eswatini lokunye futhi imbobo emhlaba lekuvedile kabandi ngiko ukuthi livele Eswatini selivele lilungelo ukuthi lisale likhona ukuthi khicitela gesi walo kwatise ukuthi ubutivumelwana letikhona ekhathi kwelivele Eswatini kanye naye Eskom lokuyinhlangano noma inkampani lekhicita gesi eNingizimu Afrika setivele tiyangasemaphethelweni nebengosilenhleke lokunye lokuvedwe ngimbobo emhlaba noma legcizelele imbobo emhlaba ngiko kwakhiwa noma kuvusetelwa konkampani yetindiza lapha lethe imbobo emhlaba kuvusetelwa kone nkampani kutawusita kuthuthukisa umnotho welive kanye netenhlala kahle nebengosilenhle insaye yake sayivele isele kilo liswati ngalinye nebengosilenhle njengoba nati ukuthi lomhla ingwenyama yemaswati beyitawuniketa yona insaye evenile Eswatini nebengosilenhle nje ngisho ukuthi namhlanje sihamba masitaphinze futhi sinithulele umbiko etindzabeni ngako kuvula kwesigaba sesine seParliament yelishumi nakunye lesivulwe ngiyo imbubo yemhlaba mathupha khona lapha eParliament kalobamba ngaphinze futhi nebengosilenhle nginifiseleke kubukela lokuhle etinhlelweni letelandzelako ngiphinze ngithi bekumnanzise ethembe ukuthi nikuthokozele kakhulu ukuhlalisana nathi sisanthule lapho konke bekwenteka khona lapha eParliament kalobamba nebengosilenhle mineke nalo lonke libandla lebelisakata khona lapha ngisho ukuthi nisale kahle
I do the most.